Well, this film is actually an origin story that sets the groundwork for the original Planet of the Apes that starred Charlton Heston. And it really tells the story of how this rise happens. And the fascinating thing about it is it doesn't really make the apes to be these bad people, and it doesn't make humans necessarily to be bad people. It's just this experience and this one ape's experience and the things that happen to him that are very unfortunate that cause him to rise up and go against the cruelty.
I wasn't quite sure what to think because I worked on the last one with Tim Burton. The issue this time was that we weren't shooting with live animals, that we were having actors this time, because last time it was difficult bringing chimpanzees on the set. You basically had to clear the set. Everybody had to leave.
Chuck kind of sat me down in early October and he had me say, and he told me every other sound crew had it easier than we will. Every other sound crew had humans wearing ape costumes speaking English, and we had humans wearing unitards, and we had to create real ape sounds. This was the first Planet of the Apes films to center around actual apes.
It seemed like this amazing opportunity to me because I was a fan of the first Planet of the Apes, and I'd actually seen the others. I remember growing up with them as a kid and seeing them on TV, and I just thought this would be like a really fun challenge to me, so I was really looking forward to it.
Well, it came to pass after looking through our sound library here at Fox that we weren't going to have enough material to really complete a 2-hour film with this magnitude of apes. We researched online, found Chimp Haven, and decided that this would be the best opportunity for us to gather enough raw material to complete the full film. When we finally got feet on the ground, we learned that they have these habitats that are large open areas and kind of play areas that they can gather, and it's a meeting place for all the apes.
It was really about setting up a lot of mics and letting them go about their day. And also the people at Chimp Haven were really nice in letting us know certain types of foods that they liked. So they could actually just say the word coconut and the chimpanzees would respond, and we'd get this big response from the chimpanzees. So we went down there with a coconut budget so they could throw them some coconuts and get them all excited and have them make a lot of vocalizations. Well, they have these large open habitats, and we sort of planted as much as we could from above and around, but we didn't really plant anything inside. It was made known to us that anything that we put inside would be gone. The chimps are very curious and very smart, and they would be playing with it, and it would probably not survive very long because they're 5 times to 7 times stronger than a human. What we did find, though, is that when they would present the coconuts, we could have them get the chimps close to the microphones. We could, wherever we planted the mics, we could get the chimps close to those areas with food, and they were very noisy and talkative. And we got quite a variety of not just screams, but breathing, subtle grunts, food grunts, pant hoots, things like that. We got quite a variety of material, and we came back after 3 days there with, I would say maybe like 9 hours, 12 hours of really good material. On the set, Andy Serkis, who plays Caesar, had done a lot of really great vocalizations, but it was a lot of times tied to some of the production, so we couldn't process it in the way that we wanted. And of course, the humans don't have the range that the chimpanzees do. On the other hand, the chimpanzees can't emote to the extent that the human can, and we needed to get Caesar to kind of bridge that gap so that he sounded like a chimpanzee, but we also had the emotion coming from him in particular scenes as well. So luckily we got to travel to New Zealand, and I got to work with Andy Serkis, and we re-recorded a lot of the vocals. We did a lot of the breaths and the grunting, and we recorded at 192 so that we could get the full range when we pitch it and process it and all that. And so what we ended up doing was using a mixture of the real chimpanzee vocals to try to get the animalistic quality and some of the more subtle, detailed stuff that Andy did that was so great, we managed to work in there as well.
I'll tell you, over time, as it developed, you would start with Andy Serkis in a gray suit with dots on him, and you're like, okay, that's cool. And you could see what he was doing acting-wise, and then you'd get this blocky, animation of the ape, and you're like, okay, I see what it's gonna do. And then it would, okay, his head looks really great, and then all of a sudden you'd get a final animation, you're like, wow, that's amazing.
This team, you should understand, was really collaborative. The composer, Patrick Doyle, who was an amazing guy, who sat there and talked creatively with the whole team and said, you guys, I think the sound effects should play here, and I think that, I have a cue here for motion to play. And so everybody was working together and very enthusiastic. We were invited to the scoring sessions, as was Chuck, and vice versa. Patrick would come on the stage and hang with us, and we'd get more ideas. So it was very, very collaborative that way.
There's one scene in particular where there's a lot of elements sonically at play, and there's a scene where the character played by John Lithgow, his Alzheimer's is coming back, and is coming back strong. And so there's a few things we do as he goes outside and he gets in the neighbor's car because he's confused, and then the neighbor finds him and rips him out of the car. There's a few things we do sonically there. The first thing is Rupert always wanted Caesar to feel like he's somewhat at home with the humans, but at the same time, there's this world outside that he can never be a part of. So pretty much any time we're inside the house, we'll hear children playing and lots of happy humans going on outside. Very suburban kind of feel. And then the other thing that we did in that sequence is when John Lithgow first comes out, we wanted to play up the Alzheimer's confusion issue and to help sonically sell the fact that he's confused. So you'll hear the children playing at that point are actually backwards, and there's also some weird processing on some of the vocals, and everything from the car and the window, everything's just a little off to give us the sense that we're lost in this world.
Stop! You stop right now! Hey! Hey! Get out of there! Get out of the car! What the hell are you doing? Get out of my car! I said, get out of my car!
Then, basically, when Caesar sees the neighbor being mean to John Lithgow, Caesar, who's always felt of himself as part of the humans, this is kind of where Rupert wanted Caesar to really go animalistic. And so the vocals go from these subtle grunts to all full-out screams.
You are going nowhere, mister. You or your son are going to pay for my choice. I'm not going to. This is your problem. You make the mess. Think of the two of you. I'm not going. Just stay right there.
And then at the end, we have to pull back because once John Lithgow's character Charles tells Caesar to stop, then Caesar realizes what he's done. So we had to vocally bring him back to a more controlled animal and a more controlled feel and almost a little more human touch to him as the emotions come out, and he realizes that what he has done in this scene, and he realizes that he's let the animal part of him come out and no good can come from it.
It's okay. It's okay. You didn't mean it. It's okay.
The people that you meet down at Chimp Haven are a special breed of people because they care so much for these animals and their rehabilitation. The animals that we recorded for the movie had lived the lives of the actors portraying the chimps in the film. We were working with chimps that came from medical research facilities, and to kind of be able to make them a part of the film and have it be so closely tied to the plot of the film was really a special thing.
It comes down to the people and how collaborative you are creatively And when the chips are down and, you know, it gets very tense at the end, you want good people around you.
Yeah, that element of trust is huge, and it's an experience that's unlike any other when you're in a room full of people and everybody trusts each other, and it's okay to, you know, fall on your face or put an idea out there that doesn't work, because that's how you get to the good stuff.
It's always the best to work when you're working in sound to see the final mix come together, because for all these months you've been looking at pieces of film and you're looking at shots, and it's really on the dub stage for me that it feels like it's a movie, because you start getting final VFX, you start getting a little bit of color timing, and then you get the final music. The dialogue is all smoothed out, the ADR fits in, and all of the effects, and it really comes to life. Instead of being a series of shots, it comes to life and you really get this movie. And it's really, like every movie I work on, I think it's the greatest feeling of the process, is to see it all come together and go, wow, this is going to be cool.